team. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Mohammad Asim. I'm working as DevOps engineer. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can set up the OpenVPN in AWS with the DNS name, and it is going to be really cost effective. The reason I'm saying cost effective as compared to the AWS client VPN, if you have a small team, you can simply stop that particular EC2 instance, and when you don't have any work, you can simply stop it. And if you're looking for some work and you need OpenVPN, you simply start that particular EC2 instance. And along with that, I'm going to show you the DNS resolution. As far as the DNS resolution is concerned, if you look in the private hosted zone, AWS provide you the resolvers, but it is really costly. I have personally used it and it is really costly. So instead of using that, I'm going to show you the cheapest, almost the free way how you can use the free DNS which AWS is already providing for you guys by default in every VPC. So we are going to use the AWS provided DNS, and you have to simply do some changes, just little change in your .ovpn file. So I've already made a lot of videos. I've already made a playlist with regard to the AWS client VPN, OpenVPN, how you can add unlimited users, how you can set up the OpenVPN on Azure, GCP, AWS. So, I mean, there are a lot of videos, but this video is with regard to the DNS setup. You can use the DNS name. The reason for using the DNS name, the IP is going to be routed. Uh, at the back end of your DNS. All the service is going to be in Docker. So what you have to do is to simply spin one EC2 instance, or if you want to set up in Azure, you can set up instance on that cloud. So simply in GCP and any cloud, you have to simply copy this script till end. As far as the DNS resolution is concerned, every cloud provider actually by default provide you the DNS. So we are going to use that particular DNS for the name resolution. So for the cost effectiveness, I highly not recommend you to set up the resolvers. So I'm going to show you how you can capitalize the free DNS and do the name resolution instead of setting up the resolvers. So as far as the resolvers are concerned, I've already made video how you can set up the AWS resolvers for the name resolution in AWS, but we are now looking for the cheapest stuff here in this video. So what you have to do is to simply launch EC2 instance. I've launched T3S small. I'm going to copy the IP address. If you navigate to your DNS, so I made one entry OpenVPN, and I'm going to put this as a record in my DNS, and I'm going to save this. So that's all that required for as far as the DNS is concerned. So now I'm going to do the SSH into that particular machine, and I'm going to show you how you can use the script. So guys, what I'm going to do is to simply do the SSH into that particular EC2 instance. I'm going to use this OpenVPN PAM file which I've already set up, and I'm going to use ec2-user openvpn.setlan.mushtaq.com. So let me log into this particular machine. So what I'm going to do is to simply copy that particular script, and if I do sudo -i, so this is the script. Sorry, let me remove this. I'm going to copy that particular script. As far as the repository is concerned, I will provide you the link as well. So this is the same repositories which I've shown you in my previous videos. But this video is with regard to the, as I told you, the name, uh, how you can use the name, and it is really effective. If your IP is rotated, you can simply use that particular name and put a different IP here. I highly recommend to use the elastic IP, which is the static IP, instead of using the dynamic stuff. For instance, if you stop your EC2 instance, next time you reboot it, you will get, I mean, next time you start it, you will get a different IP. So um, I'm going to call this openvpn.shell, and okay, let me correct the spelling as well for you guys. Okay, I'm going to make this executable. Simply run it. So this is the same stuff, but we are going to use the DNS name this time, and I'm going to show you what is the advantage of DNS name. So as you know, that behind the DNS name, IP is going to be, rotated. So what this script is doing is actually spin up a Docker and going to spin up one EC2, one Docker instance of OpenVPN. So I'm going to call this OpenVPN. I'm going to give this same name, openvpn.saklanmushtaq.com. This is the DNS name we are going to provide to that particular VPN, openvpn.saklanmushtaq.com. So this is the name it is going to use, and it is going to ask for the passphrase and the same stuff which we already set up in past. So let me give this a passphrase. Hopefully this is correct, and press enter here. So it is going to generate OpenSSL key for us. What it is doing, it is generating the certificates. I'm going to give the cert key here, and seems everything is going fine. I mean, you have to provide the right IPs. Now I'm going to set up one user. I'm going to call this cloudgeeks.ca. So, and I'm going to give this a passphrase as well. So just make sure that you have given the right passphrase. Press enter, give the CA key passphrase which you have set up. So this is done. Your If I do docker ps-a, you see our instance is up and running. So our VPN is set up. What I'm going to do is to simply copy this particular cloudgeekca.ovpn file uh, in my desktop. So simply copy this till here, client. Okay, so leave it. Just simply, I'm going to create what directory. Let's say call this VPN, and I'm going to simply make one file here, um, cloudgeeks.ca.ovpn, and although it's a text file, I'm going to open this in my Visual Studio Code, and I'm going to open this. So the changes with regard to the DNS name resolution, you have to do some stuff here. Let me simply drag this folder here, and I'm going to show you what changes are required for that particular. First of all, let me rename this one, and I'm going to rename this one. Okay, so as far as the port is concerned, I've opened this 443 port, which is secure, and you see this is the openvpn.saklanmushtaq.com. This is the name which we are going to use, and as far as the DNS resolution, instead of using the costly resolver, I highly not recommend to use that. Simply made one change in your .ovpn file and simply copy this stuff here. I mean, as I told you from the start of my video that, for instance, what CIDR range you are using. By default, AWS provide you their DNS name resolution. So let's say this is the default VPC, and this the the DNS is going to be. Let me show you the exactly same thing what I'm saying. The DNS name, the DNS, if you're using the /16, the DNS is going to be 0.02, which is the third address of your, site range. So by default, it give you 172.31/16. So our DNS is going to be 172.31.02. So let me show you that. So I'm going to copy this, and I'm using the default VPC. So this is my DNS there, third IP, and my domain is going to be let's say cloudgeekca.local. That's fine. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to create one private hosted zone with this name. So if I navigate to the private hosted zone, I'm going to create one private hosted zone, call this, and I'm going to use the US East 1 default VPC. This is the VPC there, and I'm going to create one private hosted zone. And what I'm going to do is to create one record web dot, let's say, called one record web, and web.cloudgeeks.ca. So that call put the IP address of your EC2 instance. This is the IP private IP address of your EC2 instance. We are going to use it. We are going to access it with the private IP address. Let's reduce the TTL for this. Okay, so this is the IP address we are going to access with this name, and the DNS resolution. This part I'm telling you that we are not going to use these costly resolvers. We are going to use these settings, and we are going to use the AWS default DNS. So this is only the requirement, and I'm going to import this .ovpn file in my OpenVPN client. Okay, guys, what I'm going to do, I've already opened this OpenVPN. I'm going to simply import this particular file, and let me just import this particular file. Okay, so guys, the file is successfully imported. I'm going to connect with this particular CloudGeeks CA. Hopefully, I'm able to connect with it. So I've provided the password which I've set up during my videos. So if it is going to give you error, you have to check what those are, and it is currently giving us error. So what the error are all about, I'm going to show you that it is saying it is not able to resolve this host to that particular port. So I have to check my DNS. So I'm going to pause the video. I might not save that particular DNS. So let me pause that. And with the DNS, you can use the what is my DNS and use the NS lookup to check what is your DNS with regard to that particular domain. So guys, this sort of mistakes you might do. I have to show you this sort of mistakes as well. So my DNS actually propagated. So I've done a typo. I've said openvpn.sucklan mush mush h is missing. Uh, H is missing. So I have to simply do the setup again. So let me pause the video and get back to you guys in a moment. So guys, I've done the setup again. I'm going to simply import that particular .ovpn file again, and previous file I've already removed it, and I will try to connect it now. So hopefully let's try to connect it now. So it is still going to look for that particular name, openvpn.saklanustak.com. So if everything is right, it is going to connect with it. So we are connected with cloudgeeks.ca with our user. This is the name we have set up. So as far as the DNS resolution is concerned, in private hosted zone, I've shown you guys that I've already made this entry. So DNS resolution is going to be work if I, let's say I'm going to spin up one web server into that particular EC2 instance. So currently this is not. Let me try to simply run docker run uh, dash dash name nginx, um, run it on port 80 in daemon mode. Okay. Uh, yep. So let's see whether we are able to access that particular web server. So let's first of all see that we have web server running up and running. So let me try to refresh it. So you see we are now able to resolve this web.cloudgeeks.ca.local name with our OpenVPN. So at the backend, it is using the private IP address. Let me show you this stuff. So we have given this IP address and we are not using any resolver. I showed you guys what changes. These are just little changes you need to do in your .ovpn file. So instead of using the, sorry, let me show you that stuff as well. So instead of using the resolver, this is the section. It is really costly, so use that particular setting which I've shown you in your OVPN file. Even if you are using the client VPN, so you have to provide your DNS setting and your private hosted zone. So it, believe me, it is going to be really cost effective as far as compared to the resolver if you put in your if you put it in your VPC. So that is it, guys. If you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice day.